What's up, y'all? It's Cecil West, beyondtheharmony.com. Back again with the one and only
Jonathan Lippy.
And this is your question of the week, brought to you by Beyond the Harmony. John, I'm going to flip some words on you. I'm going to give you this or that, the tit for tat. This week we got to know, is it Mo Murda or Murda Mo? And I'm talking about Crazy Bone, Mo Murda or Murda Mo, and you can only bring one home for show. What's your answer?
Well, let me first say that as you say that question to me, all I could think about is that time when you said, "Yeah, here's the topics that you may find on a Bone album: Murda, Mo Murda, and Murda Mo." But this is a tough question. These are two of my favorite Crazy Bone songs of all time. I think a lot of people, I almost feel like there's a certain kind of Crazy Bone fan, and it's the one that loves Murda Mo and Mo Murda as or Mo Murder as their two favorite Crazy Bone songs. They're both my favorite, but to pick one or the other, I remember, and this is not my answer, but I remember originally thinking when I first heard Mo Murder, I thought, man, I wish there was a full length song of Crazy just doing this over the Sound of Silence. And then it happened, Murda Mo. But the thing about Murda Mo, it is so good and it's exactly what I asked for and it's everything I asked for. But there's a climax that happens on Mo Murder, and that if you ask me what is your absolute most favorite climax to ever happen on any Bone release of all 190 plus albums, the climax when Crazy says, "Your mercy screams are not needed. Too late when you." I can't sing like Crazy, but you know what I'm saying? That part right there. The first time I heard it, I almost fell off my bed, bro. That moment, because that song changed the interior of like my spirit, my inner workings. It doesn't do it like the way now, but I had never heard a song like Mo Murder ever. It was by Bone, my favorite group, and they were still like new at the time. And Crazy experimented so much that like my teenage mind didn't know what the heck to do with it. I'm like, whoa, this is Crazy Bone, the coolest guy ever, and he's not doing rap. He's like singing. What's going on here? This is bananas. It's turning into like a Hawaiian song, and there's like a piano part in the middle, and people are to what the heck? The song blew my mind so far that I can't say Murda Mo, even though I like Murda Mo better, but I think Mo Murder changed who I am. It changed who I am. Like literally changed who I am, changed my taste in music, it's what made me want to see how far Bone can go. So Mo Murder or Murda Mo, I gotta say Mo Murder, but I love the duration of Murda Mo.
Murda Mo, Murda Mo. Hey, that's I'm surprised that that's what you went with. If I was a betting man, I was going with Murda Mo just because I know how much you love that sample. That sample's like embedded in the DNA of Bone, as we've covered all the way back to the Hellsent times.
Yeah.
And shout out to Bobby Jones.
Yeah.
And it's funny because your answer and my answer are the same for different reasons. In fact, the exact reason why I pick Mo Murder is the exact reason that you wanted Murda Mo, which is I love that change up in the middle. I loved him getting it on that sample, and then all of a sudden it switched up, and it was so fitting of the Family Scriptures album. It's like Family Scriptures kind of like was the continuation of the Art of War, and the way that the songs blended and the way that it made you feel, and the vibe of Family Scriptures all kind of had the same vibe. The way that I talk about like the vibe from Art of War, or even the vibe that Eternal made, and I remember in later albums the albums were good, but that vibe that connected all the songs wasn't there anymore. And the last two Mo Thug albums may be the last ones that really did that successfully, and Mo Murder continued to do that. When that was just the interlude, and then all of a sudden Crazy like talks that little bit of shit, and that piano drops, and then he completely switches it up, but he just continues to devastate. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. And when I heard Murda Mo, so we're talking what, the next year, right? It was
I
like
think it was no a couple years later because that's
oh yeah,
family
because
script. Yeah,
Family Scriptures would have been what,
96, definitely
96?
96. That came out on the
Yeah, okay,
election
so
day.
that's what I meant. Art of War continued where Family Scriptures had that vibe. Um so 99 Murda Mo happens. And I remember immediately loving Murda Mo as well. Like, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this. This is flawless. This is great. This is top of the line. But it's also like watching Deadpool 2. You're like, well, Deadpool 2 was great, but it didn't have the same shock and awe of Deadpool 1. You went into Deadpool 2 knowing what to expect, and even though they hit you with unexpected shit, you still knew what you were going into it with. Like you knew, you know, what the shock factor wasn't as much. So Murder Mo still blew me away, and it was still great. But if Mo Murder was a 10, then Murder Mo had to be like a 9.5, just because it lost the element of surprise. It lost that it just lost that little bit that you just got when you were so blown away by Mo Murder. So I'm picking Mo Murder. It barely squeaks by. In fact, this is the first time on a question of the day I almost said I'm not picking one. These are level. But for what I just said, and using the movie comparison, when you have a blockbuster number one and then you have a blockbuster number two, but number two just doesn't quite do what the first one did. We're
It doesn't
going
have that
Mo Murder.
climax. It's all about that climax, bro. That Mo Murder has like a crescendo, build. It has a building action, and then it leads to that climax, and it's
Murder
from
Mo felt like a lot of bridges. Like he just
yeah,
gave me a song full of bridges. He was just like, and he's done that before. I think he did that a lot on what is it,
There's a
the
bunch of them.
Gemini album. But like
Yeah,
sometimes he just gives you a song full of bridges. He's just like, this part's riding and we're gonna bridge for a while, now we're gonna do another bridge, now we're gonna
yeah.
do another bridge, and now we're gonna do this hook, and now we're gonna do some more bridges. And that's how I felt during Murder Mo.
And with Mo Murder, it's like every time you listen to it, you'd hear something new, especially on that piano part. It just you kept learning from it, and I almost wonder too: is this the first Crazy Bone experimentation song that was there? You know how we were talking during the live show about how Crazy keeps giving you these cute little snippets of these experimentations. I feel like this was that first Crazy Bone experimentation that made me fiend for him. Like that's all I wanted was Crazy Bone experimentation from that point on because of where it took my mind of where music can go. And I mean that song Mo Murder, the amount of places it goes is just it takes you on a journey. So is that the first one? I mean, I can't think of, I guess Mr. Ouija and Murder Mo Murder. Mo Murder. The interludes
Yeah,
I
but
guess count, but
because
those
but
with the whole group.
right, and because it was the group, and like I said, when I was just initially thinking about it, I was putting Family Scriptures a couple years later than it was. So if you think about the time frame, we had Eternal, and he did some stuff on Eternal, but you had the whole group there. So the pure just Crazy Bone genius kind of goes under the radar a little bit when you're splitting it up with 3 to 5 guys. But when it was just him, I mean, I think that was the first time we heard just him for such a long time delivering that much. That was your first taste of like the full blown just Crazy Bone experience.
And that picture of him on the boards and when he's got his hands out on
Oh, under the
like
tray.
yeah, that like that picture, I just look at that while listening to the song, and like I'm just thinking like, man, where is this gonna go from here? This, and you know what else I was wondering too, because there wasn't the internet the way it is now where we could interact. And I remember listening to the song thinking like, I wonder if people are experiencing this the same way I am. As I got older and saw the internet, everyone's like, yeah, man, Mo Murder took me on a voyage. And I was happy to see that other, because here's the context of the time period. Rap music, even though there was so much different variety and it was the golden age, there was still like you had to keep it real, son. You had to, keep everything was, it was all unique, but it was still kind of like there was boundaries. and Crazy violated the heck out of the boundaries of what you can do, which is what I love because, as you know, I'm a habitual line stepper. So seeing Crazy line stepped beyond any my wildest imagination. So by him doing that, I was just like, man, what is? I thought of all the people that heard that song and people with much more strict boundaries of where music can go. I'm like, what is this doing to other people's minds? Because I'm a flexible person and I'm feeling violated in a great way. So I wondered the impact it had for people all over that were hearing it saying like, yo, this is crazy, Bumble. What's he doing here? This is amazing, but am I allowed to like it? that's what I thought. I was like, man, am I allowed to like this? I like it so much, but is this allowed? Of course, nowadays all the stuff is allowed, but back then it was to experiment like that was not allowed.
Well, not only are you allowed to like it, you're allowed to love it. And that's why John and I picked Mo Murder from the Mo Thug family scriptures between Mo Murda and Murda Mo, Murda Mo. Now we got to know which one your favorite is. Don't forget to drop it in the comments and share this with another Bone fan so they can let us know as well. This is me and John Lippy, and we will catch you on the next one. Beyond the harmony for the fans we celebrate. Uploading the videos every Thursday, so join